Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the launch of the Build Digital project. I'm Avril Behan. I'm the project director for the Build Digital project, and I would like to thank you all for your time this morning in attending. We have a hybrid event going on, so in the room here with me in St. Lawrence's Church in Grangegorman on the TU Dublin campus, we have around 35 or 40 participants with us, and online we have approximately another 60 people. So thank you all very much for your time this morning, and I hope that we'll be able to give you a good outline as to what you can expect from the Build Digital project into the future. So I'd like to start by showing you a video that has been prepared for us by Minister Michael McGrath.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to participate in and lend my support to the formal launch of the Build Digital project. In November last, I announced that funding of €2.5 million from my department had been awarded to the Build Digital project to build momentum in digital adoption for the Irish construction sector. The Build Digital grant agreement between my department and TU Dublin amounts to €2.5 million over a 5-year period. After 5 years, the project will have increased the use of digital methods across the entire Irish construction and built environment sector. Project Ireland 2040 needs a competitive, dynamic and sustainable construction sector to deliver new social, economic and climate resilient infrastructure. To achieve this outcome, we need to influence building design, construction and operation towards a more efficient and sustainable approach. The regional spread of those involved in the Build Digital project in partnership with TU Dublin is critical and will see the rollout of these initiatives across the country. The parties include the Construction IT Alliance, Munster Technological University, Atlantic Technological University, University College Dublin and Waterford Institute of Technology, soon to be South East Technological University. The Build Digital project will allow Ireland's construction sector to address the issues which have hindered digital adoption and realise its digital ambitions. The Irish Build Digital Exchange Hub will be key to sharing knowledge and learnings across the entire sector. The process of embedding building information management and modelling in the construction industry, including with SMEs, clients and suppliers, through the work of the Build Digital project will be well underway by the end of this year. It's essential that the collaborative spirit between the public and private sectors at the heart of the Build Digital project continues to foster partnerships and shared learning to strengthen the construction industry and to increase its productivity and innovation. Such collaboration will support the delivery of the €165 billion National Development Plan and lead to the longer-term sustainability of the construction sector. The Build Digital project is a key enabler supporting the successful delivery of Project Ireland 2040, and I look forward to following the progress it will make in digital productivity enhancement in the construction sector in the years ahead. I would like to thank you for attending this launch, and I hope that you will support the work of the Build Digital project over the coming 5 years. Thank you very much for your attention.
What I would like to do now is just give you an introduction to the Build Digital project. Just to say before I start, I'm only able to stand here because of amazing work over the last 12, 14, 15 months by a huge number of people on the team, the Build Digital project team. And you'll see some of them here in the photographs that are coming up, but there are others who've been working behind the scenes as well, colleagues, and there's been very close collaboration between colleagues on the CSG Innovation and Adoption, Digital Adoption Subgroup, DEEPR, and across all of our partners. And I just want to, before I commence, just acknowledge all of those people and say we wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for the efforts that all of those people have put forward. So the Build Digital project, just to set the context, Project Ireland 2040 needs, as the Minister said, a competitive, dynamic and sustainable construction sector. And as part of that, we need a more industrialised approach to design and to construction. So the Construction Sector Group, through its Innovation and Digital Adoption Subgroup, is working across 7 different priority areas, which have been identified on the basis of survey and consultation, international benchmarking, and an economic analysis of productivity trends that's taken place over the last number of years. The Build Digital project is action 7 of 7 priority actions which are being worked through at the moment, which will include other elements that are coming online later in the year, including the Construction Technology Centre sponsored by Enterprise Ireland and the Modern Methods of Construction Centre. And Build Digital will be working very closely with those actions as well as the other activities. Deeper, as the Minister said, have provided a €2.5 million grant to be used over a period of 5 years, and it will deliver increased digital adoption across the entire sector. And just to say as well, one of the other major priorities that the Build Digital project will align with is the Housing for All requirements. So Housing for All, just to state again, I think most of us are well aware of it at this stage, but there's no harm in us restating it here in this forum, that everyone in the state should have access to a home to purchase or rent at an affordable price, built to a high standard and in the right place, offering a high quality of life. We know that Ireland needs 33,000 homes constructed per annum until 2030 to accommodate the growth in population that we're experiencing. The government have committed €4 billion per year to be invested in housing. And the state will play a central role in developing its innovation and productivity in the residential construction sector. And it will work with industry to strengthen that supply chain and to introduce modern methods of construction. And Build Digital and the digitalisation of the sector is an essential component of adopting modern methods of construction. So what will the Build Digital project achieve over its 5 years of activity? It will transform the Irish construction and built environment sectors to enable all stakeholders, particularly SMEs, clients and suppliers, to develop, maintain and continuously improve their capabilities as digitally enabled, standards-based, agile, collaborative and sustainable participants in the delivery of Project Ireland 2040. Our partners, as I said at the beginning, we have been working very closely on this for a period of about 15 or 16 months. So you may only see today as the launch, but there has an awful lot of work has gone on in the background. And I'd like to commend our partners, so TU Dublin, Construction IT Alliance, Atlantic TU, MTU, UCD and Waterford Institute of Technology for the amount of support that has been delivered by them as institutions and through contributions in kind into this project. So yes, we are the recipients of the grant, but we are also making investments as our own organisations to actually contribute to this project, because from our point of view, for the sector to succeed, we need to invest in this project as well, and we are doing so. Our innovation team, some of whom you'll meet here this morning, our project lead will be taking over from me in this presentation here, Robert Moore. We have Pat Lucy, our steering group chair and industry lead, our primary voice of customer, who will speak later on as well. And at the back of the room, you'll all have seen on the way in, we have Suzanne Purcell, who is leading the project management office, who I commend on getting this event ready and managing the fact that we have a hybrid event and everything was still a little bit up in the air right until the last minute. So thank you very much to Suzanne and her team in the PMO. I'll introduce each of the other members of the team as we move through. So the way we have structured the project is across 5 project pillars. We have digital leadership and cultural change, digital standards, digital education and training, digital procurement, and sustainability and climate action. And just to emphasise that even though climate action and sustainability is listed here as a separate pillar, it is absolutely an underpinning set of principles for all that we do in terms of the Build Digital project. So on the leadership and cultural change pillar, this is led by colleagues Roisin Murphy and Ted McKenna, so that's from TU Dublin and MTU. And the focus of this will be on changing mindsets and practice, achieving cultural change, which through the use of and the development of a range of toolkits and supports and bringing in knowledge and expertise from international best practice, it will enable companies to change how they operate, to digitally transform into organizations that can actually deliver in a digital environment with the agility and the standards-based and the collaborative recognition that we actually need across the entire project. The digital standards pillar is focused on the adoption and use of common rules, guidelines and workflows in information management. One of the principles of this pillar, linked together with the digital procurement pillar, which will come later on, is the development of an Irish information management framework, which will enable us to link together all of the elements that we're doing across this project and to create that holistic engagement across the construction sector. So you'll possibly note that we are not using the term BIM a lot in this presentation. BIM for us is better information management. It is not about a 3D model from one single supplier or a way that it actually excludes people from the market. This project is about inclusion, inclusivity, interoperability and open standards to enable the transfer of information as and how needed across our supply chains. And the framework will be essential to delivering on that. Digital education and training. Within this, we are going to be working to deliver a suite of upskilling courses and a comprehensive review of the existing provision and the gaps in provision across education and training for all levels within the construction and built environment sectors. And we're working very closely with Action 5, which is the Construction SkillNet Digital Network, which is being led from the CIF. The digital procurement pillar has two particular streams to it. One which is on sustainable digital procurement practices, and the second which is on the digital product supply chain practices. Digital procurement is so strongly linked to our meeting our requirements under carbon budgets, under requirements for delivery of a sustainable built environment. So in this pillar, we'll be developing guidelines, exemplars, and tools that will assist particularly SMEs and suppliers in being able to engage within that sustainably enabled supply chain. And our sustainability and climate action pillar, led by Drs. Mark Kelly, James O'Donnell and Derek Sinnott, they will be working, and pillar will be working very closely with the DASB project, which many of you will have heard about already, which is funded under the Human Capital Initiative, and with other significant players across the sustainability agenda for the country. And again, it will be about transforming mindset and actions, making people realise that we need to move towards a circular economy and designing out waste at an early stage, making sure that our products, our components and our assets are viewed as valuable resources that have a very long lifetime and should be looked to be reused as much as possible. So key deliverables out of this will be toolkits that will be able to be used by SMEs, by clients, by companies to actually change their practice and move towards a circular economy. And equally, there will be toolkits developed to help educators, and that can be in-house educators, private, public educators, to also build in the circular economy principles into all that they do. So that was a whistle-stop tour of the pillars. Could I ask you, please, engage with us? We have our website, the builddigitalproject.ie. Robert's going to talk more about how that will evolve, because that will become not just a repository for information, but that will become the hub for where we share information and where we exchange information. It's not just about us in broadcast mode, it's also about us listening to you as well and hearing what industry has to say, bringing in best practice, adapting it, making it better and bringing it back out into the industry as well. We've a LinkedIn page and we also have Twitter, and you can see our tags there. So please do engage with us, and I look forward to talking to you later on. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague Robert Moore, who is the project lead for the Build Digital project.
Good morning. It's great to be here with you. It's great to be here in a live event here in Grangegorman, a place that's close to my heart from working with the Grangegorman Development Agency for a number of years. Oh, sorry. Okay. Working there, and it's also it's great to have an online audience as well. So what we've done is we've taken the best of what has happened over the last few years, and we've joined them in a live and online event. So I want to talk to you about what we plan to achieve in year 1 of 5. So really, the Build Digital project is about bringing people together. It's all about people, and it's all about getting them working together to produce the outputs that we need. So really, the Build Digital project needs to work with people, because people solve problems. It's because people drive change, and also people help people. And finally, people will deliver the Build Digital project. So it's important that we work with people, and it's all about that. I suppose digital might be in our name, but people is in our heart. When we look at the Build Digital project, we need to look at engaging people. We need to engage the doers within the industry. We need to engage them and give them tools to be able to do their job better, easier, to a higher quality, and be more efficient. We also need to engage with the decision makers in the industry. We need to provide evidence for them to go and get that change within their organisation to do what needs to be done to improve the digitisation of the organisation. And this will all be driven by our forums. Our forums are the driving force of what we're going to do within Build Digital. So it's very important that we have that the forums work well and produce what we need to produce, which is our outputs. And our outputs should help the industry to improve its efficiency and quality. And what will happen with this is the efficiency and quality will move into delivering Project Ireland 2040. It's really important that we improve the outcomes for the project. As the industry, we should be looking at this, and as the citizens, we should also be looking at this to improve what we provide for our children and our grandchildren. By moving this, Project Ireland will be able to push the developments there into other government bodies and also push it into the industry, and also move forward to other projects that's working on, like Ailbhe has talked about, Housing for All. Build Digital will be listening to people. It's very important that we listen to what the industry has to say, because the industry knows its problems very well. It knows its problems, but also we believe it knows some of the solutions to them problems as well. So we need to listen to the industry for that. So how will we be engaging with people? So we've got several different ways of engaging, primarily through forums that will be a driving force to what we're doing, but we'll be also engaging through our annual survey, which will have a deeper reach within the industry to find out what is going on, to baseline year by year, and also to look at what is current problems by year with the industry. We'll have a half-year event. The half-year event should be a very attractive event and engaging for the doers within the industry. And then also we'll have the annual conference where we'll be reporting back on our survey and also hopefully case studies and showcasing other things we're doing. The Living Labs is really important to this project, because we really need to test out any of our solutions before they're distributed in the market. And also we know projects there have good practices within their projects, and we need to learn from the good practices that's already going on within projects. So it's very important we work with projects. The workshops will be very important, that we can test and discuss what solutions we have before we publish them publicly on the Irish Build Digital Exchange Hub. And all this will include regional engagement activities. So it won't be Dublin-centric. We will be engaging with all our partners, which has a wide reach of all Ireland. So we make sure that we have that reach within the industry, that it's not just Dublin-centric. And then finally, we'll be also delivering the Build Digital Hub. That should be our way of communicating, our main way of communicating of our findings with the industry. We'll be able to publish the reports, put our toolkits and templates on that, and then also people always can engage with us through social media. So Build Digital project will be helping people. That's the idea of us. We need to help people to make their jobs easier for them to do, that they can work more efficiently and more productively for what they produce. So that's what we want to do. We want to be helping people. So what I'm going to talk about is, over the next 5 years, is how we plan to be sharing information with you. So there'll be a number of these things that will be available in year one, but really I think it's important that you have an understanding that over the 5 years we'll have standard events, tools and things that you will see every year, that will be constant engagement, that will be growing year on year, but we'll have hopefully most of them in year one. So the first one is the Build, how we'll be sharing through the Build Digital Exchange Hub, and we'll be also showcasing all our deliverables at all our events. So I suppose really what we want to do is we want to get toolkits. We want to get toolkits for the industry to help them to be able to do their job and do the work that they need to do. We'll be producing guidelines for them. We'll be producing an Irish information management framework and other documentation there that will help the people to be able to be more efficient and effective in the way they're working. We'll also be doing case studies, exemplars of what we find out through our living labs and all our work. We'll do case studies to show the industry and give evidence to the industry of what good practice looks like. We'll have training and education materials, and then we'll be reporting on the impact of Build Digital on a yearly basis, and also on our surveys. These reports will be very useful to provide evidence for people that want to seek change within their organisation. And then just to look at what we know what we'll be delivering this year, that will be some of what I've covered, but also some of the extra things we'll be looking at. As we're starting this year, it's very important for us to have the strategic partnerships nationally and internationally. We need to build them partnerships that we're working with people and we're sharing ideas and solutions and building collaboration in communities. We'll have our best practice review done this year, and we'll also have a market analysation done, which we'll be publishing. Our Build Digital, the Irish Build Digital Exchange Hub, we hope to have that up as part of our current website later in the year, and we hope to be exchanging the best practices from international, from our international review. And also we hope to have we'll have our baseline surveys finding as well. Hopefully we'll be delivering that in our conference, our annual conference, and also have it up on our Exchange Hub. And then we'll also have a searchable educational and training database. And so these are things that we want to have in year one, but we'll also have some of our year 5 program of deliverables up and running as well. So just about Build Digital, we want people to get involved. It's all about people, and we need people to get involved. So why should people get involved in the Build Digital project? We're talking about people to allow them to co-create win-win solutions for their industry. It's very important that we get people's knowledge of what they know will work and what they know won't work to help us build these solutions. We want people to develop tools to improve their business, or people will develop tools. People will help improve Project Ireland 2040 outcomes, and that's something for us all to work for, and something that we all benefit from. To increase your organisation's influence on policy, and that we also allow you to liaise with industry and client stakeholders, so you'll be able to network with people and learn from people, from sharing your experiences and ideas, and understand what customers want or what clients want within the industry. And then how can companies get involved in Build Digital? So we want to encourage and enable staff to co-create the Build Digital project deliverables. So it's important that companies embrace what we're doing and have staff there available to work with us. To provide the living labs, that's again very important. It's one of the very important ways that we'll be able to test our deliverables and our solutions. So it's really important that a wide range of companies come forward to us and allow us to work with their projects, so we can see what best practices you already have within your companies, and also allow us to pilot or test some of the tools and solutions we're developing. So it's very important that we get that. It's important that companies engage with our solutions, that when we do provide solutions, that companies look at our templates and try and work with our templates. If people are collaborating on projects and going into new projects, if all that project team are following the Build Digital guidance and through our templates, it means that there is not a new learning needed to be done at the start of the project, because there's an industry kind of way of doing it. So teams can form much quicker and operate much quicker with projects if they follow our good solutions. And also, and finally, financial support. It's very important that we get financial support from the industry. The financial support will be mainly used around the Build Digital Hub and other events that we'll be running, and also for that, companies will be will get their names on our materials as well. So that's just one other thing I'd like. If it would be really appreciated if you'd all sign up for a newsletter. We've just got a newsletter out, so we'd like to get our mailing list up and running with as many people as possible, so we can disseminate the information out. So we really appreciate it if you could sign up for a newsletter, and then also you can get in touch with us through the usual channels. Thanks very much.
Good morning, everybody. As you can see, I'm still at the paper stage. I haven't moved to this stage yet, so you have to bear with me. So there's your first challenge, guys. I'd like to say good morning to you all, and thank you for the opportunity to address you this morning on the important occasion of the launch of the Build Digital project. My name is Tim Ferris. I'm the director of the Jones Engineering, which is a multidisciplinary engineering company, and currently responsible for delivering projects across Ireland and the greater wider European mainland. I'm also the chairman of the CAF Construction 4.0 committee, where we seek to develop maintenance policy with representation across the entire sector of the supply chain. First, I would like to congratulate TU and CETA and our regional academic partners on the successful appointment to act as hosts of the project. This project has been making for a considerable period of time, and the construction industry has been involved along on some of that journey. We have been working with some of the stakeholders since 2015 in combination of the strategic plan, the National BIM roadmap. The roadmap was completed in November 2017 and set out a pathway to implementation of digital transformation of Ireland's construction sector. One of its key successes, which I think is important to be understood by all, is that it took on the voice of the customer and the client's needs as paramount, and then it looked at what was needed to be done to encourage and support the industry to transition to meet these needs. Digital delivery and mapping of project processes has been at the heart of my company, or Jones Engineering, I should say, for over a decade. We started our journey primarily to deliver to our clients that we were working with data that we needed to deliver to them for them to do their jobs. So it was a necessity. We had to go on a journey with our clients. So you now have to go on a journey with your clients and the people out there that are looking for this facility. Why is it important to the industry? Our ultimate objective has to be to capture value for all stakeholders. We need to capture value where it is currently being lost and to identify existing processes that are used in other industries and jurisdictions that could deliver significant incremental benefits if transferred to our industry to assist the way we currently deliver projects. Driving change and transformation is never easy, but to support that transformation is key that we have two types of senior leaders involved. You need to understand this. You need influencers to drive the conversation, as well as advocates to bring challenging voices and will be the ultimate arbiters of whether or not the proposal delivery true value to the person at the work face, the guy holding the pliers, the girl out there working on the site. It has to bring value to the people at the end. I missed the boat. It must be understood also that this project cannot add a layer of administration or add frustration to people's daily workflow. So companies are working ahead. Some companies are working ahead of you on this. They're ahead of you on this. So you need to embrace them and work with them and not impose stuff on them. Maybe learn from some of these people. The roadmap is set out. The original pillars of cultural change and leadership, digital standards, procurement and education and training have been supplemented with a pillar of sustainability. Sustainability is one of the greatest societal changes that we'll face in the next 15 years. Economic influences may pale into insignificance when we start to face the effects of lack of action to address climate change for the past 30 years. Integrating sustainability within the project is critically important. The industry has made important nominations to these pillars to help drive both the KPIs and deliverables to what is practical. You have to look out there and you have to ask a small owner or the small SMEs, what can you do for those? Some don't even think they're using digital in their workflows, but yet they have little apps and little programs that we've given them to work and support them along the way. You need to understand that They can't take big changes. You have to work with them, and you'll have to give them tools and the toolboxes, which I was glad to hear that you said that you're producing, to help them along the way. But there has to be a meaningful input from you to them that they can see that it helps their work, and then they'll embrace it for you. It's, as I said, it's a journey, and you need to go on the journey with some of these people. It must deliver from the bottom up. It's not about showcasing the best in class or big fancy presentations and stuff. It might be a simple tool that gives someone to do their job better, to make life better for everybody, to make everything sustainable. You need to bring the wider community into place, and it's not just a big fancy stage we're on, right? Our company has embraced a lot of technologies and experiences over the years, and we jumped into things trying to be the best in class and get ahead of the posse and show people how great we are. I didn't realize that we had to go back and train our supply chain and our suppliers and our subcontractors and bring them up to our level, because we had gone to a stage we couldn't go any farther. So it's all keeps going back to this people, this journey, it's information, it's toolbox, it's helping them, and it's not just big fancy stuff. What will it look like in 5 years' time? I can see a future, like your facility has to be able to give this information to everybody whenever they need it, and to help them handle it. And if you get to that stage, you have won, right? I can see a future for small subcontractors and big subcontractor suppliers will be working on digital projects versus physical projects, with information at their fingertips, tools and processes to help decision making and streamline project delivery. If the project stays true and delivers, in 5 years' time, the investment from industry will be such that the viability of the project will be proven, and we'll be able to look at renewal of the grant from the government. But for success comes with demands. For us in the construction industry, demands that the industry engage and bring meaningful, thoughtful leadership to the table, which you've asked for. It demands that we leave our competitive nature instincts outside the door and bring forward solutions that will bring the standards up for the entire sector. For clients, which is very important from us, from our side, it demands a mature approach to procurement with realistic time afforded to the pre-construction planning and coordination phases. All this new technology lends clients to think that things can be done faster and better. It can't. It has to take its process. It has to be planned, it has to be worked out, it has to be engaged, and then it will be successful. They think all this new technology just makes things faster and better. It doesn't. For the Build Digital, it demands that the project remains focused on the objective of delivering transformative value, addresses the productivity challenges that we are all faced, and to provide the answers for the public and the private clients to give them continued confidence in our sector to deliver world-class projects. So then one of the key messages is bring the industry with you on this journey. Is the key to delivering a project that will help define and directly benefit from it in a meaningful way. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I wish the project team all their best in their endeavours, and also like to confirm the construction industry is on board with you to help you along the way when you reach out. So thanks very much.
Great. So thank you, Tim, very much for that. And it's really, there were so many positive messages in there in terms of bringing the industry with us. That's absolutely what we want to do. This project is a collaboration between government, industry, academia, and all other stakeholders within the project. And we absolutely will be making the ask, and we will be listening as well, because as you said, there's a lot of best practice out there. We're not in the business of starting with a blank page and not realizing what's actually out there already. So thank you very much for those comments. We have a few minutes here at this stage for any questions and answers, or any questions that might arise from the audience. We've had one in on the online forum, which was just asking about the link to the Irish Build Digital Exchange Hub. So the Build Digital Exchange Hub will be hosted within our own project website. So at the moment, the project website is, or the email address for the project website is thebuilddigitalproject.ie. The Exchange Hub, because it's actually going to be a tool where we will exchange, we will collaborate, we will share information. That is going to take us a little bit of time during this year to develop. We will, as part of our annual industry survey, we will actually be asking industry exactly what provision it wants within that tool. We have an idea, but we want to test it, road test it, make sure, again, to Tim's point, that we are actually providing the service that is required. So that there will be, as part of our industry survey, which will be going out shortly, and we will be engaging with you all on it, we will ask questions about it, but to get to that exchange hub, and we will be sharing information on that as soon as we possibly can, because at the moment our team is coming in place and we're doing a lot of best practice review, etc. So all the information that we're gathering, we'll be making that available as well. And just to, I suppose, re-highlight as well, as Robert says, our purpose and the funding that we have received onto this project is to give a leg up to industry. So it will be that the toolkits, etc., that we are providing will be available free for companies to use. So, and for clients and for SMEs, etc. So that will be the objective of it. So I've just got a question in here while the rest of you are thinking. There is a mic. We can get questions from anyone in the audience as well. So, will there be pilot projects allocated from the public and private sector to test and develop the proposals coming out of the Build Digital project? Absolutely. So that is the purpose of our Living Labs. So at the moment, a piece of work that Robert is working on is the development of a proposal around Living Labs, so that we can actually come to different parties in industry and say, we would like to work with you on your project to actually test out particular of our tools or our guidance notes or whatever it happens to be. Not every project has to be a full start to finish project. There might be small sub-elements of it. We do want to get that range of different types of projects, whether it be from the residential sector, commercial, etc., and also between public and private. So we are very open to conversations with anybody about that. We already have a number of projects that have already been committed, but we are certainly open to more projects. And luckily, Robert's old employers at the Grange Government Agency weren't too disappointed with us stealing him from them, and they're going to work with us as a starter. But there are other projects, so if anybody is interested in providing projects, we would be delighted to hear from you, and you can get in contact with us through any of those means there. So are there any questions in the room? Yeah. Okay, so the question, just in case anyone online didn't hear it, was, are we intending to have any liaison or connections with other projects that might be further along in other locations? Absolutely. So we have already had some engagements with the Digital Build Britain project, which unfortunately is actually shutting down at the moment, but there is a transfer of information that they're moving their information into the construction hub and a couple of other elements. So we've definitely made that connection. We've connected with the Scottish Innovation Centre, and Robert has already started doing work on a number of other groups in the Nordic countries, in the Benelux, etc. So absolutely, and also actually we've had some conversations with people in Australia as well. So we are definitely looking at international best practice. It really doesn't make sense for us to start with a blank page, as I said. So where there is international best practice, we will bring it across and we will form those strategic partnerships. So I think Robert had it on the list that one of our targets for this year is at least one, if not multiple, strategic partnerships with other organisations. So thank you for that point. Any other questions from the audience there? My screen is just timed out here. There isn't anything else coming in online there, Ellen, is there? Oh, Joseph. Yes. Sorry.
Projects. I think this is an amazing project, and it's great to be in the organisation and to senior leadership and so on, and that connection that you were talking about earlier on with industry and the feedback loops and so on. I'm very interested, given what I focus on in building performance, in the design digital bit. And I'm just interested to know how the Build Digital bit, which is very much focused, I think, on the digitalization, lean construction, material efficiency, the sustainability bit, can connect or will connect to, is it the right design in the first place? And what is the projected, can we calculate, can we simulate, can we measure energy flows, energy efficiency, those sorts of questions, which really are very strong focuses of the design team that then feed into the Build Digital process. Yeah. Not from the BIM side so much, but from that other engagement, thermal modeling and so on. Is there any potential for connection there?
So, I mean, the pillars within the Build Digital project, digital standards, digital procurement, digital education, training, cultural change, leadership. So actually, we are starting at the very conception of projects and working all the way through. So design is absolutely fundamental to what's going on. So one of the, I suppose, the challenges, particularly within the procurement space, is to make sure that it is sustainable procurement so that it drives the right sort of design, and then the design will drive build. So I think if I suppose the conception is out there that build simply means that we're only dealing with the construction stage, then we have to dispel that myth. We are actually about projects, full life cycle of projects from conception right the way through to end of life and reuse. Okay, thank you, Joseph. And any other questions? Yeah. There's a microphone coming, just 1 second there. Thank you.
Hi, Sean Dennison, JS1 Ireland. I'd echo what was said already, the fantastic project. It's great to see it getting up and running. What wasn't clear to me from what I've seen so far is that we're building great tools, adopting great practices, but will there be a demand side to that? Will there be a mandate from government departments, from Department of Education, for instance, to mandate the use of the tools that we're building and the practices that we're putting into place?
Okay, thank you for that question. So in case, yes, we had the microphone so everyone online would have heard that. So within each of our pillars, so we highlighted here on screen the academic leads who are co-chairs of those pillars. In each of our pillars, we have between 8 and 12 industry members who are embedded, who are actually going to be bringing the voice of customer. We're mixing those voices so that we have clients and we also have industry participants at all different scales, different regionalities, etc. Among those are government or agencies, government as clients. So we have the HSE, we have connections with Transport Infrastructure Ireland, we have a number of clients, and we also will be working very closely with the Office of Government Procurement in terms of both the Living Lab type projects and in terms of overall aligning the roadmaps for what we're going to do. So on the digital standards pillar, one of the colleagues from the Office of Government Procurement is actually on board in that pillar, and we will be aligning our track. So the BIM mandate is already there in the National Development Plan, so we will be working very closely with it. So yes, I think there's both a push and a pull element. So thank you for that question. Okay, anything else? No, if not, at this point, respecting your time, I will hand over to Pat Lucy, who is the chairman of our steering group and our industry lead.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank our presenters, Arvel, Robert and Tim, for setting out so clearly the aims and aspirations of the Build Digital project. And a special word of thanks to Minister Michael McGrath for taking the time to provide the opening address. Please pass on our thanks to the Minister. A few brief words about the steering group and my role. The steering group will be responsible for project governance, particularly in relation to realising impact for industry and fiduciary oversight. As steering group chair, my role is to act as the primary voice of customer or industry lead in the Build Digital project. As such, I will be looking for industry feedback and input as the project progresses. Following on from what has been presented this morning, I hope you all agree there is an opportunity here to contribute to positive change in construction. For the skeptics, I can see that anyone unfamiliar with how the Build Digital project has arrived at this point could well be skeptical. Previous attempts at reforming construction have not brought about the improvement the industry needs, and so many reports on construction simply gather dust on our shelves. But the Build Digital initiative is different to anything tried before for the construction sector. It has moved at pace since the publication of the KPMG Future Analytics TU Dublin report. It has the backing and the sponsorship of the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform and the Construction Sector Group. It has collaboration embedded throughout. And it is based on a new approach for construction, an approach that has been successful for other sectors, which is using the vehicle of a challenge-based grant call to select a consortium for delivery. So the Build Digital project is not about trying the same approach used in the past and expecting a different result. This is new for construction, and I encourage all of construction to get involved and make it a success. So the success for the Build Digital project will not be measured in research papers or reports. It will be measured against the deliverables specified in the grant agreement. Deliverables that will be detailed and made more relevant by the pillar groups. Deliverables that make a difference for those delivering projects at different stages in the project life cycle. This success will not come without overcoming challenges, and one of those challenges will be collaborating effectively, which is easier said than done. The construction ecosystem is very complex and is not well understood. We all approach issues from our own perspective, and notwithstanding how experienced we are or how objective we think we are, our understanding is incomplete. When diverse groups work collectively, respecting each other's views, seeking to understand each other's point of view, the outcome is powerful. So once again, and I echo the words of Avril and Robert earlier, and encourage all to get behind this initiative and help it reach its potential. So where do we go from here? Well, there are two immediate actions in relation to meetings. A plenary session will be arranged within a month for the participants in the pillar groups so that everyone has a common understanding of what is required before the individual pillars hold their own meetings. And for the steering group, I will finalise the membership of that group and hold the first meeting around the same time as the plenary session. There are other activities, as mentioned by Robert earlier, and key amongst those is the first annual survey, and that will take place before the end of June. The Exchange Hub will happen later in the year, and as mentioned, the identification of projects for the Living Lab is an ongoing action. Finally, it is my pleasure to thank a number of people who have been instrumental in bringing the project to this point today. The Department of Public Expenditure and Reform, Kevin Meany, Colin Farrell, Rinku Fulfahagar, Declan Donoghue, Fionn Jenkinson. The Construction Sector Group, particularly Sean Downey, Caroline Spillane, David O'Brien, who have driven this initiative very strongly since the development of the roadmap. The Construction Sector Group Innovation and Digital Adoption Subgroup, and in particular its chair, PJ Rudden, who has a wonderful vision for the construction industry encompassing the Build Digital project, the Technology Centre and Modern Methods of Construction. Enterprise Ireland, whose experience has been invaluable in this project. The various professional and representative bodies for supporting this initiative and nominating people for the pillar groups. Industry supporters already on board and those soon to be engaged. The PMO for event management and project delivery support. The pillar co-chairs for the significant heavy lifting to enable us to get to this launch. Partner organisations for contributions in kind being made to the project. Everyone who has helped to make this day a success. Thank you for your attention. That brings the formalities to a close.